And now, from the world's most news-biting source of comedy-tainment, it's the New Mexican Inquisition with Isiah Yazzie. Oh yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for showing up to the New Mexican Inquisition. We got some great guests for you guys tonight. We got Gina Naomi Dennis, the Coalition 6 or District 6 Coalition President. We got a local comedian, John Cuellar. Awesome. Let's get down to some headlines. Senator Tom Udall announced earlier this week that he won't be seeking re-election in 2020, and this set off a frenzy of speculation as to who's going to run and fill his seat. Is it going to be Republican Mick Rich, Maggie Toulouse-Oliver? Whoever it is, I want them to be committed to their constituents. Like, what about the guy in the luchador mask outside Bendito Hideout in Central, right? Now, he's committed to his constituents. Whatever you do, just don't vote for a guy whose name sounds like a $1 McDonald's sandwich. Yeah, can I get one McRich? It's out of season and only comes around every election season, so limited time. McRich, go get it. Ben Ray Lujan is seriously considering to run for Tom Udall's seat. In a phone interview earlier this week on Tuesday with the New Mexico Political Reporter, he stated that he's seriously considering to run. And Ben Ray Lujan used the term seriously more times than the popular cheerleader who decides to run for prom queen. Ooh. Got a lot of grudges out there against prom queens, I see. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham asked the state's game commissioner to resign earlier this week. So you better turn in those resignation, boys, before the hunters become the hunted. House Bill 549 has been signed into law. This will allow the take-home removal of partially consumed wine from a restaurant after enjoying a delicious meal. Yeah, it's so bougie that all these new laws are being passed. It's like New Mexico doesn't have a problem with DUI. Got a lot of DUI offenders out there. Jackie White, the Cabinet Secretary for New Mexico's Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, is warning that a federally proposed spending cut could cost human lives. Yeah, Jackie is afraid that the cuts will leave New Mexicans exposed to terrorist attacks and superstorms. But also 2/3 of her staff in the office work and get paid off this fund. So how do we know they're not the real terrorists? Am I right? New Mexico became the 18th state this month to allow same-day voter registration. Woo! It's New Mexico. We run on Indian time, am I right? A lot of people have been waiting or trying to sign up since 2012. Yeah, I just did that joke because Danger or Kendra couldn't, so that's why I threw that Indian joke in there. Diversity. The city of Albuquerque is facing a class action lawsuit. The plaintiffs in the case claim the city illegally took their cars, held them for months, even years, then made millions off of them by selling them. Man, Albuquerque, the only place where the car thieves and the city government compete on who can steal the most cars this month. But we love it here, don't we? Awesome. Well, that's it for the headlines. We got some great guests this week, or for this show. Gina Naomi Dennis and John Cuellar. We'll be right back after this break.
Would you like to advertise your business on the New Mexican Inquisition? Well, just contact us on our website at NMINQ.com.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning back into the New Mexican Inquisition. Like I said, we have a guest, a comedian here from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Please welcome John Cuellar.
There, thank you so much. I'm John Cuellar. Good to see you guys. Did you guys know that ants can lift up to 20 times their body weight? Yeah, I don't know if my aunt knows this because I helped her move last week and she just moved the small stuff, you know? I mean, we did smoke some cannabis before we moved some stuff, so maybe that's kind of affected her, her mobility. But hey, did you guys know that ants can smoke up to 20 times their body weight? I don't know if you guys knew that. But yeah, unless it's your stuff. Excuse me, their stuff. Oh man, great tag that I just destroyed. Anyway, I have a landlord. Does anybody else here have a landlord? Yes, I thought so. I'm on good terms with my landlord. Why, this morning I made a land deal with my landlord. This afternoon I made a drug deal with my drug lord. And this evening, well, I won't tell you what I'm going to do with my gay lord, but it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Just tell you. Animal facts, more animal facts. Did you guys know that every bat, that's right, every bat has wings? A bunch of bat experts, huh? So you knew that. But did you guys know that bats also, every bat at some point loses their bat wings? That's right. And that's how they become chihuahuas. They just run along the ground from that point on. I am 40 years old, if you guys wanted to know, 40 years old, and I don't like being 40. I like it even less than I liked being 30, so not very much. And one reason I don't like being 40 is because stuff hurts. Like car sex. Car sex hurts at 40, guys. Anybody had car sex at 40? I don't know. If not, you're losers. Just kidding, you might not be. But car sex at 40 hurts. That's right. And I think one reason that it hurts so much is because you really got to wait for 2 hours for the car to cool off before you start to, in the tailpipe, you know? It's just, other things that let me know I'm getting old, I have a daughter, and recently she asked me for a quinceañera. That's right. I thought about it for a second, and I said, have a baby, it's cheaper. So she did. Another reason I know I'm getting old as a father is because I remember holding my kid down for her very first shots. It's an experience you won't forget as a parent. And to this day, she doesn't like wild turkey. She will not take wild turkey after holding her down for those. It's pretty crazy. I taught her to drive the other day. That's pretty crazy. Teaching your kid to drive. I don't know if you guys have done it. I'm still here, so obviously it worked. But I taught my kid to drive, and the weirdest thing about teaching your kid to drive, I think, is showing them how to use the interlock, because that's really the hardest things. You have to time it just right, you know. It's just one of those things. Another reason I know I'm getting old is because I had a joke for that and I totally forgot it. But I don't know, maybe I didn't. Who knows, guys? The other day, someone told me I look like a movie star. Things are going well for me. Someone told me I look like a movie star, that's right. But they said it was Caesar from Planet of the Apes. So I'm not sure. It's a backhanded compliment, maybe. That's what I'm thinking. But hey, thanks so much. You guys are awesome. I'm John Cuellar, Potential Problems Podcast.
Awesome. Great job, John. We'll be right back after these commercials.
Would you like to advertise your business on the New Mexican Inquisition? Well, just contact us on our website at NMINQ.com.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for tuning back in. thank you guys for tuning back in. Thank you very much. I have our guest here, the guest comedian, John Cuellar. Great set.
Oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, we were talking before we came back on that it's definitely a different sense of timing when you have a microphone in your hand, I think, and then when you're playing to cameras more than the audience, right?
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you noticed something like that?
Totally different than stand up in like an open mic. So yeah, it's a lot different. What the Albuquerque stand up scene? What's that like here in Albuquerque?
You know what? We have a pretty strong scene. It's a little big city, obviously. You know, where you kind of know everybody, but there's still almost 500,000 people here. So that's kind of weird. But you kind of run into people you know all the time. So it's a small community, and we essentially all know each other for the most part, and we all kind of help each other, even if you're not the biggest fan of someone. You tend to try and help them out, just because that's kind of the way it works around here for the most part.
Yeah, for sure. And let me see. And you have a podcast, is that right?
That's
also?
right. For about 5 years, for 5 years, my partner Alan and I have run a podcast. It's called Potential Problems Podcast, and it's just we started it just sitting around chatting, a couple of guys. And since I knew many of the local comics, I said, hey, how about we just chat with some of those comics? And that's what we did. And 5 years later, we've kind of built a following. We're on YouTube, Google, iTunes, pretty much every platform. But the thing that we really like is that it's allowed us to project some of that Albuquerque comedy out into the internet and allow for more exposure for us and for other people too. So, in fact, we have we're going to be a big part of 420 Fest down on Central coming up here. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. And so, what do you guys talk about on the podcast?
We watch videos. We talk about that. We talk about current events. We talk about popular memes. Are you a fan of memes?
I love memes.
So a couple weeks ago, the big thing going around was the R. Kelly interview meme. And so we looked at a couple of those. We made some of our own. And then a couple of weeks before that, there was another popular meme going around. So we just kind of track those and kind of inform people. So sometimes if you see stuff flash across your Facebook, whether it be a meme or a story, we kind of stumble into those and talk about those.
Awesome. And so you were talking about 420 Fest. Obviously, it's cannabis. When is it taking place?
It is coming up. I believe that is a Saturday and Sunday.
420, right?
In April. Yeah, it's probably pretty close to that date. And there's actually a big section, significant section of Central that's going to be marked off from 7th to 3rd or 3rd to 7th, depending on your preference. There are going to be vendors. There are going to be cannabis enthusiasts. It's going to be family friendly. So one of the things that is big in the cannabis community is it's all about medicine and pain relief. Okay. And I've been to the store a couple times or seen some vendors and spoken with some patients who have benefited greatly from it. So it's something that, you'd be surprised what kind of patients you meet.
How are they keeping it family friendly? Is like everybody getting gummies like before?
Yeah, give the kids gummies.
Get gummies, like a 400 milligram
something like
gummy
that,
for your little kid. Just kidding, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. That would be
Don't advise that.
Did you hear there was a kid that took some gummies to school a couple months ago here in Albuquerque? It was about a year ago or so.
Most popular kid, probably.
Yeah, the most popular kid. That's right. It was elected class president afterwards.
Class president,
that's
prom
right.
king, all
prom
the stuff.
King, which was odd because it was a 4-year-old, but still.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
No,
Start them early,
yeah.
Right?
So you kind of have to be careful with that stuff, obviously. But there are going to be it's going to be an atmosphere where if you think about cannabis in one way, in terms of what you may have traditionally thought the negative thing about cannabis, well, it's kind of an opportunity to see people who really benefit from cannabis.
Awesome.
And from that culture.
There's a lot of pros to cannabis. I mean, a lot of people use it, like you said, for pain relief. So if you're interested in the 420 Fest, it's taking place this April 420. We'll talk more. Where can they find information? Where can they find you?
You know what? Look up 420 Fest. You'll find it on Facebook. Look up Potential Problems Podcast. You can find information there. We have ads running. So, yeah, definitely check that out.
Awesome, awesome. We're going to go right back to a quick commercial, but we'll be right back with our next guest. Thank you.
Would you like to advertise your business on the New Mexican Inquisition? Well, just contact us on our website at NMINQ.com.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, guys. Please keep it going. Help me welcome our next guest, Gina Naomi Dennis. Nice to meet you. Take a seat right there.
Hi. How are you? Good to see you.
Awesome. So how are you today?
I'm good.
Good, good. How are you enjoying the weather?
Not so much.
Not so much?
All day.
Oh, same.
And I brought my tissue here.
Oh, can I borrow?
Just in case. Yeah, we can
I
share.
might-
It's okay.
Okay, so you're the District 6 Coalition President,
Yes.
right? Okay, so what is the District 6 Coalition?
So what it is it's a group of 17 neighborhood associations, and the geographical area is from Lomas to Gibson and University to Eubank. So every city council district has a coalition of neighborhood associations, and our district is very active, and we've got neighborhood associations that have been active, very active for the last 20 to 25 years. And so it's really exciting doing work in this coalition.
Okay, awesome. And so your role is president. So as president, what are you in charge of? What do you do? Do you organize?
I wear a lot of hats. I do a lot of things, and I do a lot of things with a fair number of people. And essentially, it's my job to organize and empower all 17 neighborhoods from Lomas to Gibson and University to Eubank. When I started as the president of the coalition 2 years ago, we only had 9 active neighborhoods. And since then, I've built it up to 16 out of 17 active neighborhoods. That's been a lot of work. And what I noticed right away when I became the president is that a lot of the neighborhoods needed help with traditional organizing. So what I did is I decided to apply traditional organizing techniques to the context of neighborhood associations.
So like door-to-door knocking?
Yeah,
Or
door-to-door knocking, having a lot of one-on-one meetings, peeling the layers, finding out what the issues are, the priority issues that people have in their neighborhoods. And one of the things that I did is I decided that we would make our meetings nomadic. So instead of having our meeting in one set venue, we actually bring the meetings to every neighborhood. And about a year ago, we started doing that aggressively. And we started with Sarah Osborne from the Campus Neighborhood Association. And she jumped in right away and helped us have our meeting at the UNM Architecture Building. And that was a huge success. And people really liked having a meeting in a different neighborhood. And ever since then, every other month, on the last Thursday of the month, we've had a meeting in a different neighborhood. And it's exciting because people get to know their neighbors, right? They get to understand the adversities that people are facing. So it actually brings people together.
Awesome, awesome. And so can people get involved who aren't a part of District 6?
Sure.
Can they come out like from somewhere else and come and just, I guess, help District 6 coalition? Are there other coalitions in Albuquerque?
Sure. So every city council district has a coalition. And we do have people that reach out and ask if they can attend our meetings so that they can learn how to build power within their neighborhoods. And our coalition, since I've been the president, has been a model for empowerment in our neighborhoods. And I have a lot of people who run other coalitions asking if they can come to our meetings. And it's not just other neighborhood coalitions. We also have people come in from other organizations like the Coalition to End Homelessness. They come to our meetings. We've got other groups that are active and activating people, and we like to share our knowledge with those groups.
Awesome. So if somebody doesn't have lights on, or is that kind of what you do? Like you go to the house and make sure people have the basic like
So-
like the needs?
Absolutely. So right now, what we're seeing in especially in District 6, which again is Lomas to Gibson, University to Eubank, and actually down to Mesa del Sol, we're seeing that there's a big disconnect between government and community. And as the coalition president, I've seen it as a major task of mine to marry the two, to marry community with government.
Makes sense, though. They always argue. Married couples always are
Sure,
arguing.
they do.
So-
And, you know, the idea is if you're a citizen and you pay taxes, you deserve to get a return on your investment, right?
Yes, I agree.
It should be that the government should work for you. It should be that when you walk outside, you don't trip on the sidewalk and break your hip because it's not ADA compliant. It should be that you don't have to walk in the darkness when you're jogging in the evening and be at risk of being robbed because there are no lights, city lights, where there should be lights. Yeah. These are the kinds of issues that I deal with, and it's issue-based conversations. It's not political at all. And I actually really like that because I get to have conversations with people about their public health, about their public safety. And it's about making people's lives better and empowering them. And what I tell people is, I say, you have the power. You have people power. And as long as we continue to highlight issues and do it in a respectful way, we can address some of the non-compliant, the non-ADA compliant sidewalks. We can address the missing city infrastructure block to block where people have to walk in the darkness. We can continue to support our public schools so that they stay open and they're not shut down.
I have a quick question, real quick. If I'm in my neighborhood and I see there's a street light, but it's not lit, like who do I call about that? Or why does that happen sometimes? Like there's this perfectly good street light, but it's not on.
So this is actually a pretty sticky issue. During the legislative session that just ended, I submitted 3 $500,000 capital outlay requests for the District 6 Coalition so that we could get $1.5 million of funding from capital outlay from the state to fill in missing lighting infrastructure at the city level. And unfortunately, there was some confusion where the state legislators thought that this was the same kind of project that PNM is doing. And PNM is doing this really awesome phased-in project in the district where they are going to be doing upgrades and retrofits starting in the spring. And it's an incredible project, but it's completely different because what we were asking for is city lighting infrastructure, like mid-block lighting, filling in black holes. And that's a city responsibility, and it's also something that can be funded through state-level capital outlay. That's completely different than PNM dealing with retrofits and upgrades, which is a powerful project in and of itself. And some lights are owned by the city, and some lights are owned by PNM. And PNM actually has this really cool map online where they can show you all the lights that are owned by the city, okay, and all the lights that are owned by PNM. And there are these little blue and orange dots on this map. And it's really exciting to see that because it can be confusing sometimes when you see a street light that's out. And so now we have a deeper understanding of what that means. It means that it could be owned by PNM, it could be owned by the city, or it could be dilapidated infrastructure that needs to be replaced and modernized by the city. So it could be a number of things.
Okay.
Awesome, awesome. I've never thought about lights this much, but it's a great project. I know that you have a community town hall coming up.
Yeah.
So is that part of District 6 Coalition, and where is that taking place this month?
Tomorrow at 2 p.m. we are having a community town hall where I will make a special announcement, and it's going to be at the Korean War Veteran Park, which is adjacent to the Loma Linda Center. And so the address is 1700 Yale Boulevard. And so people can park in the parking lot right by the Loma Linda Center, and then they can make their way over to the park, and we're just asking people to bring their own chair. And that will start at 2 o'clock on March 31st, Sunday, tomorrow.
You said you have a surprise?
I have a special announcement.
Can you let us in on that or no?
I can definitely.
Is it a Senate run?
It's not a Senate run. It's not a Senate run.
I was getting like sweaty.
So in the last 2 years as the president of the coalition, doing the work building relationships between government and community, empowering people in our neighborhoods to have a voice, to use their voice. Doing that work has taught me how to be a city councilor.
Okay.
I am doing the work of a city councilor. And people have asked me to run for city council. Okay. So I'll be making an announcement about that tomorrow.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So that sounds great. You have some papers for us, right? District 6 Coalition.
Yeah, you know, some people want to know what are the neighborhoods within the geographical area that I described. Okay. And so there's 17 neighborhoods, and we have, we have from University to Eubank, Lomas to Gibson, and that includes the campus neighborhood right by UNM. It also includes Clayton Heights, which is the neighborhood I live in, and we also have Elder Homestead, which is in the International District, the La Mesa Community Improvement Association, which is also in the International District, Mesa del Sol, which is out by the airport. We also have Nob Hill, Parkland Hills, Siesta Hills, South Los Altos, South San Pedro, which is in the International District, Southeast Heights, Trumbull Village, which is in the International District, University Heights, Victory Hills, and Yale Village.
Awesome, awesome. Sweet. So if you're in any of those neighborhoods, go check out the community town hall meeting at the
Loma Linda Community Center, and the event itself will be at the park that is right next to the center. And it's at 2 o'clock tomorrow, Sunday, March 31st.
Okay, awesome, awesome. And you'll hear some great news that's going to be coming out from Gina Naomi Dennis on Sunday. Awesome. Well, quick story. Did you know that I got robbed actually in one of these neighborhoods?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, gunpoint home invasion.
I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah, I don't know why it happened.
Sorry about that. I think that was my cousin.
Oof. Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there.
As they say.
You know, public safety is a priority, and it definitely relates directly to public health. And a large percentage of the crimes that are committed in Albuquerque happen when someone is high or trying to get high. And one of the things that we talk about, the narrative that we talk about in the coalition, is addressing things like addiction. And we also talk about things like community policing and neighborhood watch, where, you know, really it's our neighbors that are the eyes and ears on the ground, right? And we want to make sure that our neighborhoods are developing positive relationships with APD, and so that the community has a voice in how policing occurs, the frequency, and the solutions that are there for public safety.
I started my own neighborhood watch, but they called it peeping, so whatever.
Okay. So, you know, there's a saying, there's a joke that, you know, if you're visiting Albuquerque, arrive in car, leave on foot.
Yeah, because the city might take your car also. Who knows?
The car can disappear, absolutely.
And got car thieves, you got the city.
Auto theft is a huge issue. And, you know, there are things that have happened. You know, there was a person who was standing outside of a business on Central Avenue in our district, and he just so happened to be a physician, and someone came up and stabbed him in the neck. And he called the police, and the response time was too slow, and he was just bleeding out. But thank goodness he was a doctor. He knew how to stop the bleeding. And when people talk about the phrase, people just want to stop the bleeding, this is actually literal in our district.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of good work trying to build positive relationships with APD, and I think we've made a lot of progress. The most important thing right now is making sure that APD engages in good resource management, such that officers on the beat are not overworked and that they have the support they need so that we can cut down on the crime, but do it in a positive way.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, too, for joining us on New Mexican Inquisition. I hope we can have you guys back sometime. I'm Isiah Yazzie, filling in for Danger K. Valros. We'll see you next episode.
Awesome.
Great job, great job.